Military casualties in Ukraine and the end of Russia as we know it. Russia is suffering huge casualties in Ukraine, not only among the army, but also among state security. Their massacre brings the end to Russia as we know it. Let's look on the list of killed Russian generals. Major General Suevetsky, Major General Gerasimov, Major General Kolesnikov, Major General Matayev, Lieutenant General Mordvichev, Major General Tushev. Chechen, Thread, not counting a Chechen General Tushev, who's an officer of Kadyrov's personal army. Mordvichev was the highest-ranked Russian general killed so far. He was a commander of 8th Guard Army of the Southern Military District, equals close to Ukraine. Groups of Russian military and social media look like a never-ending list of necrologies. Consider this group of Russian airborne VDV, a captain, a colonel, lieutenant, first lieutenant, general, major are all dead. Notice they're listing only officers, including high-ranked ones. Let's go to comments. A deputy commander of an airborne regiment is killed. The first comment was Z Avatar. My God, loudly crying face, are they gonna bring us half of the regiments in coffins? Every day we see Regiment 331. Condolences, hands pressed together, to family and friends. Eternal memory and glory. Notice Z, its author fully supports Z operation. And yet, she's shocked by the scale of casualties. Apparently even for Z folk the endless stream of coffins from Ukraine looks disheartening. That's why trucks with dead and wounded Russian soldiers typically show up only at night. Consider that this all is happening in a quickly depopulating country which is growing old. Russia has few youths to send to Ukraine. Russia is now a pensionary country and its fascism is pensionary fascism. Specifically babushka fascism. There aren't so many grandpas around. They are urgently trying to lure whomever to the army. These are listings on Avito. Avito is a classified advertisements website, kinda Craigslist. There you can find jobs, real estate, cars and whatever for sale, services, etc. They are using every channel to boost recruitment. Some advertisements are aimed at imbeciles. A recruitment station is inviting people to join reserve. They'll be paid only for man-hours, officers, up to 10,000 rubles for 3 days, sergeants and soldiers, up to 5,000 rubles. Broke idiots who join gonna be sent to Ukraine. For 30 days of many of us they're offering 75,000 rubles to officers. Before the war it was 500 to 1,000 dollars. Sergeants and soldiers would get 150 for $100. Russian army is luring the brooks, paying them almost nothing. That's important to keep in mind. There are also unconfirmed news that Russia will send to Ukraine adolescents from UNAMIA, the youth army. That's a patriotic paramilitary organization. I can't confirm that's true, but with situation worsening they might. Sending their conscripts is illegal and they still do. Z war heavily relies on minorities. That's understandable. First of all, there are not so many young Russian males to send, so you need to target minorities with higher fertility. Second, affluent will dodge, so you send broke ones. Here you Siberian natives killed in Ukraine. Participation of North Caucasians is even higher than that. This cafe in Dagestan feeds families of Z soldiers for free. Reportedly, Samilksy district of Dagestan with population of 29,868 people sent 500 guys to fight to Ukraine. Soldiers, cops, National Guard, whomever.
И от 15 марта именно такая акция идет. Правда, не военнослужащих не так часто приходят, но мы, которых знаем, даже приходится их иногда уговаривать, а не платить за еду. А так, посетители в основном ради довольны, благодарят нас за это.
That's quite ironic. Russian nationalist expansion in Ukraine heavily relies on people who are not considered fully human from the Russia perspectives. They are called kachas, churkas, monkeys, apes, and yet they provide a huge share of recruits for Z war. We must distinguish Chechnya from the rest of Caucasus. Dagestan or Ingush serve in Russian army like everyone else. In military terms, they're regulars. But Chechnya is a kingdom of Kadyrov and Chechen army, police, FSB etc. are his personal army. Watch this video, feel the vibe. When you look at Kadyrov's forces in Ukraine, you can see how clean they are, how fresh, not tired at all. They're heavily burdened with equipment. Why? Because they're terror and PR troops who try to skip the fighting. They're to police, torture, keep control, not to fight.
Наш президент Владимир Владимирович Путин всегда показывает уважение ко всем религиям, ко всем национальностям. Это подлецы, бандеровцы и их хозяева навязывают всему миру свою грязь, а нас Россия не пройдет. И на Украине это будет первый шаг, который мы вместе, все войска, все мужики, россияне, мы вместе покажем, что мы...
Compare those Kadyrov's cyborgs with Chechen mujahideen of the First Chechen War. You clearly see a difference. Men who actually fought tried to dress lightly, take less burden and equipment. They were also quite dirty from the fight, unlike shining show-off troops of Kadyrov. Strelkov confirms it. In Mariupol, Chechens didn't enter the battle. Why? Chechens are too darling to our commanders. Someone has to pose for the victory photos. Chechens are fresh, masculine, jacked, gonna look great. Commanders fear Kadyrov's anger for Chechen casualties. Kadyrov's troops are not for fighting, they'd rather skip it. They're for keeping control, making PR and OFC torturing. Have a look at this video how Kadyrov's soldier makes a captured Ukrainian shout Ahmad strong. Ahmad is the name of Kadyrov's father.
За Бога, за Украину. За Богом, за Украину. Это все твое, да? Все. Скажи, Ахмад Сила.
Ахмад Сила.
Громче!
Ахмад Сила!
Еще!
Ахмад Сила!
Еще!
Ахмад Сила!
How will these casualties impact Russian society? Well, Russian fascism is pensionary, babushka fascism. Media are crying how sanctions will hurt poor babushkas, forgetting that babushkas are the main electorate of Putin. This demographic group supports Z most enthusiastically. Watch this video endorsing Z invasion. It's issued by an organization called Putin's Troops. It gives you a good glimpse of Putin's electoral base. People imagine Russia as a bear, heart, determined, bestial power. In fact, Russia is insane warmongering babushka.
Правильно. И молодец. Вот вы понимаете, наверное, нужна была подушка безопасности в нашей стране, чтобы нас, этого простых людей, не коснулось. Для России, я считаю, что никаких последствий не будет. Мы жили в то время, когда был Советский Союз, мы полностью были закрыты. Мы жили неплохо. И я считаю, что наши дети, наши внуки будут жить точно так же, неплохо. Для украинского народа, но я думаю, что страна не зря туда зашла эту операцию делать. Я думаю, что помогут. Страна наша поможет. Мы же сильные, мы же держава. Ну что там еще говорить? Ну, естественно, Америка, она всю жизнь ненавидела нашу страну. Всю жизнь, сколько я помню, у меня дед прошел такую войну. 4 года, его даже 5 лет не было дома. Пришел в 46-м году с фронта. Единственное, что у них вина, что они не добили вот этих нацистов, что они их оставили, что пришлось нашим внукам решать эту проблему. Про санкции я что хочу сказать. Мы жили в советское время, всю жизнь были санкции. Мы же жили. У нас были поля, у нас своя продукция. Понимаете, у нас все есть в стране. Если сейчас вот так вот все закрылось, я считаю, что это очень даже хорошо. Будет работа, будет все. Потому что у нас такой президент, он, наверное, Богом действительно даден нам в стране. Мы в советское время не вернемся, у нас будет просто Российская империя.
There is, however, a problem. First, insane warmongering babushkas who comprise the bulk of electorate support Z, but it's not them who's gonna fight and die. It's the youth who are much less enthusiastic. Compare this anti-war protest demographics with that of Putin's troops. These funerals in regional capital of Vladimir. They are burying the entire leadership of Vladimir SOBR, all for their lieutenant colonels. SOBR is a branch of National Guard dealing with the organized crime, and they are being massacred in Ukraine. This may be a huge consequence of this war. Ukrainian war may provide a final solution of the Siloviki question. Siloviki are police, state security, intelligence and other paramilitary. This new nobility, as their chief called them, are the real source of Putin's power. Ask yourself, why elites do even obey Putin? Why barons submit to the courtiers? Well, because if they disobey Putin, gonna send a doctor. Here Moscow Siloviki are arresting Khabarovsk governor Fergal, who didn't forge the election in Putin's favor. Russia is a vast and very unequal country. Socio-economic and other parameters of its regions vary greatly. Putin enforced obedience, but enforced it by brutal violence. Russian Siloviki, whom he directly subordinated to Moscow, terrorized barons, making them obey to Kremlin. Putin's reign of terror was largely motivated by objective limitations. Here you see Russia divided into 3 zones, red, blue and white, with almost equal population 48.9 million. Which means key economic regions of Siberia are unthinkably remote from Russian population centers. That's why Putin had to rely on sheer force so heavily. In a country like Russia, courtiers have to use a lot of force to keep barons at check. There's no other way. And these Siloviki guys were the main tool of Kremlin, arms of the courtiers used to control the barons. And here they go. This is not a funeral of Russian soldiers nor of the SOBR leadership. It's the funerals of Putin's regime and of Russia as we know it. Very soon barons will have almost no reason for obedience. Balance of power within elites gonna be renegotiated. End of thread.